saw a clip on Instagram where a young kid was comparing you to Nas and saying that you got
that's my young boy.
big hits.
He's wild.
Yo, he looked to you. He learned how to wear the BB Simon belt from you. He got his swag. Like, how crazy is that? Because in my era, you know what I'm saying, Nas is like a god.
In my era too. I mean,
so to be compared,
let me
that young kid out.
He was young and we loved that he loved Jim Jones. I want you to break it down.
Let's break this down. Let's not get into that where we get into numbers and I got to show you the statistics of what I've done. You heard to what other people was done. You heard them. You want to go to the Billboard entries, pull up Nas' Billboard entries, then pull up my Billboard entries.
Listen, we can't compare the two. What I'm trying to tell you is
I want to go there. Hold on. I want to go down the line now because now we going down the line. He's a rapper and I'm a rapper.
Listen,
let's go statistically.
It feels great.
No, but I want to go statistically because when people be like,
I feel the same way. We all feel the same way.
And forget about the numbers. There's nothing that there's never is me. Putting me up against anybody, I'm taking me every time. Every time.
Supposed to.
Okay, but let me say something though, Jim.
In every category, I get.
Drake just threw his whole weight behind Jim Jones right after Jim went wild, talking reckless and claiming he's better than Nas. But here's the twist. Drake's sudden ride or die for Jim ain't just about loyalty. It's dripping with straight up spite. See? Drake really believed he and Nas were still solid. But the second Pusha T announced Nas would pop up on that new Clips album, Drake snapped. That collab hit him like a punch to the chest, and he didn't just take it personal, he treated it like betrayal. So instead of playing it cool, Drake switched sides and cozied up with Jim, the same Jim Jones who's been clowning Nas nonstop and throwing dirt on his name for years. While most of the rap game distanced themselves from Jim's disrespect, Drake did the opposite. He doubled down and basically lit a fire under Jim. Now Jim's out here wilding even harder, hyping Drake like never before. He's calling Drake the GOAT, saying he's better than Nas, better than Hav, better than anybody who's ever touched a mic. It's starting to sound delusional, but wait, it gets crazier.
What I did for Nas probably never been done for him in his life. He's never been that viral at all, ever. Ever. He's never been talked about like this ever in his life.
Now, has Nas
you did the last time he was in some shit like this where people were comparing when him and Jay was beating.
Jim isn't just hyping Drake's music. He's also going full force defending Drake's legal war with Universal Music Group. Yep, Drake is suing his own label for letting Kendrick drop Not Like Us. And Jim is spinning it like Drake's doing this for the culture. Imagine that. Jim Jones turning Drake's personal lawsuit into some heroic battle for hip-hop. Right now, Jim's the hype man on overdrive, and Drake, he's using him like a weapon. This ain't just rap beef anymore. This is looking like a full-blown alliance of chaos. The whole industry is laughing at Drake for ducking into court battles after catching that L in a rap war. But Jim Jones? He's still riding for him like he's cashing checks straight out of OVO's payroll. Now the big question everybody's asking, are these two dead serious? Or is this just one messy stunt for attention? Are they really that thirsty for clout? Or do they honestly believe the wild things they're saying while the rest of the game shakes their head in disbelief? Let's lay it out. Jim Jones dropped a bomb on hip-hop when he straight up said he's better than Nas. No sarcasm, no joke. He said it like scripture, like it was undeniable truth. And when the internet blew up dragging him into the fire, did Jim back down? Not at all. He doubled down, bragging that he's the one who made Nas go viral again after years off the radar. But let's be real, nobody was buying that fairy tale. Fans went ballistic, calling it blasphemy, saying it was flat-out disrespect on another level. Comment sections lit up with confusion, anger, and non-stop roasting. People were asking, who gassed you up like this? Who told you this was okay?
Nas or Jim Jones?
Fucking Nas.
Nas.
Nas or Jim Jones?
Nas.
All right. Nas or Jim Jones?
Is that a serious question?
Yes, it is.
It's Nas, bro. Jim Jones the clown.
Nas or Jim Jones?
Come on. Is that a question?
Yo.
Is that a question?
Hey, yo.
Nas or Jim Jones?
Come
though.
on.
I ain't say who.
Yo.
Yo. Not
Nas
serious.
for the
All right. Nas or Jim Jones?
Said Nas or Jim Jones?
Jim Jones might have been hustling in this rap game for over 20 years, but the second he tried to place himself shoulder to shoulder with Nas, it was like his whole resume got erased. That's how deep the disrespect cut. People didn't just roll their eyes. They tossed his entire career out the window. And here's why. Nas isn't just another rapper. He's one of those rare names you do not touch. Coast to coast, old school to new school, Nas is the untouchable icon. So when Jim tried to slide into that sacred lane, fans didn't just get mad, they got straight offended. Think about it. Nas dropped Illmatic at just 20 years old, and decades later, he's still stacking Grammys like it's light work. And it's not only fans keeping his name in gold, legends respect legends. RZA himself crowned Nas a genius, even comparing him to Bobby Fischer. That's not casual praise, that's top-tier acknowledgement. This isn't checkers, it's chess at the highest level, and Nas moves the board better than anyone alive. But Jim, he refuses to tap out. He just teased an interview with Angie Martinez, and from the vibe he's giving off, he's still running wild with the Nas talk. Now fans are heated, asking, what does respect even mean anymore? Scroll the comments and you'll see it. People are done with the circus. They're dragging Jim left, right, and center, tearing him apart for chasing clout like it's the only hustle he's got. One fan didn't hold back, saying, why is this man-child so obsessed with going viral? Another piled on, mocking him. He really thinks dissing Nas is gonna move his albums? And then came the knockout punch, the comment that burned the hardest. How you lose a rap beef you started when the other dude didn't even rap back? Ouch, that one cut deep. And the worst part, it's true. Nas hasn't even flinched. Not one bar, not one tweet, not even a shady caption, nothing. It's like Nas looked right through Jim and decided he wasn't even worth a second of energy. That silence says it all. Nas doesn't see him as a rival, just background noise. But just when the circus felt like it was dying down, boom, Drake jumps in, like he's the star of the show. This isn't even his fight, but he slid into the chaos, standing next to Jim and throwing slick shots at Nas from the sidelines. Why is Drake this pressed? Out of nowhere, he dropped a flashy pic of him and Jim Jones posing like mob bosses. And of course, Jim rushed to the comments hyping it up. Men of respect, mafia rules. A toast to the last ones left. Straight mob, movie energy. But the internet wasn't impressed. Not even close. Fans flamed both of them, calling Drake and Jim the two corniest rappers alive. Brutal. And let's keep it real. Nobody believes Drake did this out of loyalty. Nah, this move screams clout chasing. Drake treats drama like it's his daily caffeine fix. He can't function without it.
Fisher of MCs. Because Bobby Fischer was the youngest MC youngest chess master
player, right.
to master. He became a grandmaster at the youngest age.
Right.
There's a few that beat him over the years,
Right.
but he was the first one at that age to be, and Nas was a master at the age of 16, 17,
Right.
where most of us, cause you met us, we was already in our 20s.
Right.
He was at the age of 17, 18, dope as somebody that was 25, 30.
Right. That's true.
And seriously. He's a prodigy.
Drake will do anything to keep his name trending. Anything to keep that spotlight glued to him like it's oxygen. He's built a whole career out of dipping into beefs he didn't start, just to stir the pot and watch the mess boil over. Drake feeds on backlash like it's fuel. He wants people debating, clowning, praising, whatever, as long as they're talking. And trust, he knows exactly how to make that happen. But don't think this came out of nowhere. Drake and Jim already had history. When that ugly Kendrick battle had the whole culture roasting Drake alive, guess who stood tall at his side? Yep, Jim Jones. While the industry mocked Drake for suing UMG over Not Like Us, Jim flipped the script and called it a power move. He stood 10 toes down, no hesitation, like he was Drake's personal lawyer, and hype man rolled into one. Then came the shocker. In an interview with Angela Yee, Jim took it up another level, saying Drake's done more for the culture than most rappers in the entire game. That wild take had people gasping like, what did he just say? And Jim wasn't done. He kept spinning this narrative of Drake as a misunderstood genius, painting him like a visionary the world just doesn't understand. By now, fans are confused, asking, Is Jim riding for Drake or just riding the wave? Because Jim didn't stop at calling Drake one of the best alive. He crowned him the greatest of all time. And then, the strangest moment yet, Jim actually called Drake his spirit animal. Seriously, what is even happening here? Now, to be fair, Drake's always had love for Jim and Dipset. He's been Harlem's fanboy since way back, dropping Cameron, Jules, and Jim's names like family in his bars. And just last year, Jim even made it official, crowning Drake the honorary 5th member of Dipset. Yeah, there's definitely some mutual respect between Drake and Jim, but don't get it twisted.
Means to you?
Respect is definitely something you gotta earn. Respect is something I might not get from everybody, but you're definitely not gonna disrespect.
I was like, yo, we should have Jim on the pod. And then the next day, Jimmy's viral.
This is one of the ways of marketing that is working right now in today's music.
Hi, baby! Where are you at with marriage now? How did you feel about Sierra running up on you at the, you invited?
I know anything Sierra's gonna say is gonna go super viral next to me. I'll take it. I know how to turn my negatives into a positive. Man, I didn't know how many people love Nas.
Drake diving headfirst into this Nas versus Jim circus ain't about brotherhood. It ain't about street codes, and it sure ain't about loyalty. This move was straight up chess, not checkers. Why? Because right when all this chaos started bubbling, Pusha T and Malice revealed the official track list for the long-awaited Clips album. And guess what? According to Complex, Nas is stamped on track 12, Let God Sort Him Out, Chandeliers. The second that track list hit the net, hip-hop Twitter went nuclear. Drake saw the storm coming and made his move. Not emotional, not random, but pure strategy. This wasn't about defending Jim. It was about legacy control and making power plays in the middle of a rap war zone. Now the question is burning through the culture. Is Drake really standing on hip-hop history, or is he just terrified of getting left behind by it? So far, there's no confirmation whether Nas's verse on the Clips joint is a diss or even aimed at Drake. But in a recent Rolling Stone interview, Pusha T hinted the track is sharp and said he'd been chasing a Nas collab for years. Translation? This wasn't random, it was years in the making. But hold up, that's not even the wildest part. The Clips album also features Kendrick Lamar on a track called Chains and Whips, produced entirely by Pharrell. Now fans are putting the puzzle together, and the picture looks grim for Drake. Think about it. Pusha T, Kendrick, Pharrell.
Universal. Man, how many niggas you in the hood you know got lawsuits? How many niggas?
It's different though.
How? How many niggas in the hood you know got lawsuit money? How's it different? He's in a different realm. That's his hood.
But I feel like it's where the lawsuit. I feel like where the lawsuit's coming from.
Listen to me. Where's it coming from?
It's coming from a rap beef. That's giving them the motive to have the lawsuit.
You think about this wrong. You think about a bag, or you think about a rap beef that's imaginary to the people. These are playing on the highest level of fucking entertainment. $1 billion game. Now, if he could catch $1 billion game in the midst of a rap beef, me? I
think reputation matters. I think your image matters.
Bro, he's not snitching on nobody. He's catching a lawsuit.
I'm not. This has nothing to do with it. I'm not calling him a snitch.
Let's get this together. He's not in a court of law. He's not have a personal suing against Kendrick Lamar, which everybody seems to think that this lawsuit is about. He didn't sue Kendrick Lamar. He sued UMG, which is the biggest company that has the biggest bag. You think I ain't gonna sue Amazon if I ain't get a chance to? Me suing everybody. Any one of them companies I get a chance.
All three have been at odds with Drake for years. And now Nas, who's never once had a public beef with Drake, is sitting right there in the mix, locked into their project like a piece of their squad. That's the dagger. Nas never needed smoke with Drake. But now, by linking with Pusha, Kendrick, and Pharrell on one record, it's like the walls are closing in. Word on the street is clear. Nas just made his choice, and it's not Drake. Some might call that reaching, but insiders close to Drake are saying he's heated. That Nas feature hit him like a gut punch, because this ain't just about music, it's about alliances. And when it comes to rap beef, if there's one rapper Drake avoids like the plague, it's Pusha T. Never forget, Pusha's the one who unleashed the story of Adidon and ripped Drake's polished image to shreds. That wasn't just a diss track. It was a career scar that still hasn't healed. Pusha exposed everything: the secret son, the hidden relationships, the fake perfect brand Drake had been pushing for years. All of it shattered in one brutal moment. And even now, Drake hasn't truly recovered. He stayed quiet, tried to laugh it off, acted like it didn't sting. But fans never forgot. That was a career-defining moment, and not in the way Drake wanted. Now fast forward to today. Nas is suddenly locked into a project with Pusha T, Kendrick, and Pharrell, three of Drake's longest-running rivals. That's not just collaboration. That looks like a super team forming against him. So yeah, Drake's not just mad, he's nervous, real nervous. What makes this sting even harder? Nas was never hostile toward Drake. In fact, he's always shown respect. No beef, no smoke. Drake even praised Nas multiple times, giving him flowers and credit for influencing his rise in the game. But now, with Nas standing next to Pusha T, the man who almost ended Drake's legacy, it feels like betrayal in real time. Now Nas linking up with Pusha T and Kendrick Lamar on the same Clips album? That ain't just music, it's a straight-up message. And to make it even spicier, look back at what happened right after Kendrick dropped his album and had the entire world locked in after going nuclear on Drake. Guess what Nas did? He hopped on Instagram, posted Kendrick's album cover, and wrote, "Always inspired by my brother Kendrick Lamar." Keeping the essence alive and at the forefront. Salute King, yeah, he really said that loud and clear. Fast forward to 2025, and it's not just social media love anymore. Nas is in the booth, side by side with Kendrick on the Clips project, with Pharrell behind the boards, and Pusha T standing right there too. That's not just a collab, that's a line drawn in the sand. And trust, Drake feels it. No matter how calm he tries to act in public, this one cuts deep. Insiders close to Drake say he feels flat out betrayed. Why?
He's the greatest of all time. The relevancy that he keeps showing year after year, hit after hit, record after record. Any record that he has put out has seemed to go multiple platinum. Like that's never has happened before in this history. I mean, there's few other people that do astronomical numbers like that, but he really in it. Like, you know what I mean? From all angles of music. It ain't no place you can't go that they not gonna play some Drake records to get the party started. He moving around here like the real Bruce Wayne. Like he's my spirit animal, man. I just gotta give credit where credit is due and not taking away from nobody.
Because in his mind, he's always given Nas pure respect. No subs, no slick disses, no hidden shade, just admiration and props every time. Drake looked at Nas like a legend untouchable. But now, seeing Nas roll heavy with Kendrick, Pusha T, and Pharrell, three of his biggest ops in the game, hits different. It's not just business. It feels like Nas quietly switched sides, and that's why all roads lead back to the Jim Jones madness. Fans are convinced this is the real reason Drake suddenly went all in behind Jim, because deep down, he felt abandoned by Nas. Drake didn't suddenly jump to Jim's defense out of brotherhood. Nah, this was pure chess. He saw Nas vibing with the enemy, so he hitched himself to the only dude bold enough to take shots at Nas in public. Drake didn't care how sloppy or desperate it looked. This was a power move. Classic Drake playbook. When his reputation feels shaky, he doesn't retreat. He makes noise. That's the pattern with him.
I have no desire to ever mend anything with that person. And yeah, that situation just went, it just went where it went. And it's just, there's no turning back. It's not like those other situations. I'll say at that point, it wasn't even about battle rap or any of that. It was just, the information was too shocking. It was, like I said, on his part, it was a genius chess move. He obviously has no, when it comes to me, he's not going to have any morals or respect. So the other elements of the record, whether it be just the shit that he's making up about my mom and my dad and all this dumb shit. Or obviously the part that hit me the most, which is wishing that my friend that has an illness dies. That shit to me is just not really wavy. I'm just not really with that. And when I did say, oh, there's rules to this, I didn't mean there's rules that anybody has to follow. But in battle rap, they just headshotted that guy the other day because he was on stage and he pulled out a picture of the guy's dead aunt and started rapping about, that type of shit. And it just is what it is. There's a point where there's a point where you're going to want to stop rapping. I'm sure I could say something about, you know, your lovely lady or, you know, a child or a family member, and you're just going to want to not really rap anymore. Yeah. So that's just kind of where I got to. It's just, I just had to admit, like, yo, I'm really, you know, and when I was making the record In Response, which was a real record, I know people think it's like some myth. It was like on this Vinyls beat. And I just found myself saying things that, like, one, seemed really out of character just because I was like deeply invested in the situation and getting very angry. And saying things that I don't know if in 2 years I'd want to hear myself say. And, yeah, I just realized that, like, nobody cares about this guy. So there's not really much I can say better than Drake Has a Baby. He won, you know, he won off that.
The second the spotlight starts drifting, Drake scrambles to snatch it back. Fast, loud, and reckless. He's not wired to sit quietly while people debate his spot. If there's even a hint of disrespect or whispers that he's being edged out, he'll dive into chaos just to remind everybody he's still in the building. Doesn't matter if the beef ain't about him, he'll insert himself anyway, just to stay center stage. And fans are calling it out, clear as day. They're saying Drake's not just emotional, he's petty. Instead of locking in and focusing on his next drop, he's out here hopping into rap wars that had nothing to do with him. Why? Because he saw Nas teaming up with Pusha T, a man who's been dragging him for years, and he couldn't resist. He backed Jim Jones, threw slick shade at Nas, and spun the narrative like only Drake does. At the end of the day, this fits his legacy to a T, built on loyalty tests, power moves, and controlling the storyline. Drake moves like a boss when things go his way, but the second someone steps out of line, ice cold cutoff. No warning, no smoke signal, just silence so sharp it stings. He only keeps people around who salute him on command, and everybody else gets frozen out. And now, here we are, the breaking point. What started as a little side drama with Jim Jones has morphed into a full-on rap chessboard, with Drake and Nas standing on opposite sides whether they admit it or not. Drake thought he was keeping his power moves slick, but fans are already seeing it for what it is. Panic disguised as strategy. Nas didn't even diss him, but just by standing next to Pusha T, Kendrick, and Pharrell, he sent a louder message than 1,000 bars ever could. That alliance looks untouchable, and Drake knows it.
Man, he's changed the way that we listen to music in the past 10 years wholeheartedly, and everybody that's been around, he's helped change their sound also. For all our favorite rappers, you name the top rapper right now, has helped them tremendously out in their career by just jumping on a record or putting them on a tour. You know what I mean? Like, he's done more for our culture than.
That's why he's clinging to Jim Jones like a lifeline. Because Jim's the only one reckless enough to bark at Nas when the rest of the industry wouldn't dare. But here's the twist. The louder Drake pushes, the more people are starting to clown him. They're saying this isn't confidence, it's desperation. They're saying the sixth god is now running plays like a cornered king, moving pieces out of fear instead of dominance. And once fans smell fear in this game, the crown starts to slip. So the question now, does Drake really have the juice to flip this into a win, or is this the moment where his empire starts cracking? Because one thing's for sure, this war ain't just about Nas, Jim, or Pusha anymore. This is Drake versus the culture itself, and the whole world's watching to see if he sinks or survives. So yeah, Drake jumping headfirst into this Jim versus Nas madness, not shocking at all. What is shocking is how ice-cold calm Nas has stayed through the whole thing. No tweets, no interviews, no sneak disses. Just pure silence, like he's too legendary to even acknowledge the noise. Meanwhile, Drake's scrambling to keep the spotlight while the fans are already locked in on the real heat. That Clips album, think about it. Pusha T, Kendrick Lamar, Nas, and Pharrell all standing on the same project. That ain't just a track list. That's a lyrical super team. And Drake, he better stop playing chess with Jim Jones and start sharpening his pen, because the way it's looking, war season is creeping up fast. If you're ready for more chaos, make sure to smash that like button, drop a comment with your take on this mess, and hit subscribe so you don't miss a single twist. And yo, share this video with your crew, because this saga is just heating up. See you on the next one.